Jan, 10 years of live remix, and you've sort of taken at least part of the world by storm with this concept of the festival, which began here in Kristiansand. Can you remember your first visions of the festival and what you wanted to do?
Well, the idea was to use technology, and to use new technology with having different concerts inside Kristiansand, and then to have all the lines from the different concerts coming into sort of an alpha room with a spider's net, of sound and audio files. And inside that room, we had the vision of having Brian Eno, to do a remix and to control, all the files that came in, all the sounds that came in from the different parts of the city. That was the idea, and we chose to name it PUNKT, because it could be a PUNKT anywhere in the world, which it turned out to be. And also it turned out to be that we managed to invite Brian Eno twice actually for the festival, as you know. And I think it's a way of using new technology to use it as an improvising tool in order to make new music. And that's sort of our goal, and it has been from the day one. Not to use technology as a gimmick, but to use it as in the current art form, to create new music, create new audiovisual possibilities.
That's the difference between PUNKT and many other festivals which try to copy this concept, is that you have a very human, a very creative, very musical approach to using technology. And as far as the musicians are concerned, it's giving them a freedom, a danger zone, an excitement that they are not getting anywhere else.
I think you're right, and I think at least that is a possibility at PUNKT. And sometimes it works, and sometimes it works less, But for the most part, I think it's about creating an environment where people and musicians, audiences, and all the volunteers can meet and can let the blood run in a faster way. That there is a danger involved in doing these concerts, and during the concerts, the lines are going to a different set of musicians who are sampling out bits and pieces and then putting it together in 40 minutes, and then the remix starts. So that's sort of the danger part of it. So you can't put anything up your sleeve, really. It's something that you have to be in the moment, and I think that's very important in these days.
Dave, you're not from around here. What brings you to Kristiansand?
I come here because there's a music scene that is built into the PUNKT-festival that I can't get at home. There's nothing similar to it at home.
Where's home?
Belfast, more or less, in Northern Ireland.
So what was it that attracted you? What is it that is so different? Because there are many aspects to PUNKT and many reasons why people come here.
The thing about the remix concept is it involves artists who are creative people creating an art form there and then, whether they be sound manipulators or engineer type people, or even in some cases a certain degree of video input. But they're creating something that they are giving over to another group of people. Usually, sometimes one of the group goes along, but we'll go into that another time. But basically, I'm giving you something to remix that I have just made. So it's a kind of commerce that doesn't require exchange of money, which is what remix has traditionally been about. We need a B-side, please remix this track for us, here's all the tapes, go do your thing, and somebody's paid a flat fee. Meanwhile, the remix goes on and sells lots, and the remixer has just been paid a flat fee. So it takes an idea that is based purely on commerce reasons from that aspect, and takes it into the realm of artistic sharing. And when PUNKT is described as the hub of a natural network, or the PUNKT family, which is a very common phrase, it is that, because it is about this sharing, and the art form of remix is more like the dub remix in a way, where it is about a performance, because original dub remixes were of course a performance within the studio. And to see it actually happening, it's a glimpse into it's behind the wizard's curtain. You know what the wizard looks like, but suddenly you see how it happens, and it's a postmodern thing. Expose the workings as well as the final product. It's not just the surface. You're shown the clockwork within the watch, and that's a very intimate thing as well. So you've got the tension of what will they do with this, coupled with the intimacy of the exposure of methodology behind it. And if you've got artistic inclinations, that is incredibly revitalizing. I've spoken to a lot of other audience members and so on, and many of them are artists, be they architects, designers, painters, video artists, or musicians, of course. And they have come to regard the PUNKT-festival as a way to revitalize themselves, to recharge their creative batteries, because they come away inspired. And anything that is so inspiring is to be cherished.
The visuals are a very important part of PUNKT and have become more and more so with the work that Tord Knudsen has done. How do you see the relationship between the music and the visuals? And if you extend that, I suppose, the relationships between the gallery installations and exhibitions you've had?
Well, we've always, since day one, we've been focusing on having an audiovisual experience, meaning that Tord, being the set designer for PUNKT, is just as important as the musicians. And that, given the Norwegian flat structure, it fits, with our plan also. It's about giving people space and giving people trust to develop their own ideas, and eventually hoping that those ideas will spin off and that it will create new projects that comes out of PUNKT. For instance, we did a project with David Sylvian and also with Brian Eno, audiovisual projects, the 77 million paintings by Brian. That was very important for us to do. So we invited Brian as a visual artist, mainly. And then after a few years, he came as a producer and as a musician. With David Sylvian, it was also as a sort of the visual aspect of David is just as important. And also the design for PUNKT, that is, it shows it's a family business. It's trying to develop something that we focus on quality, and to develop something in a very small place like Kristiansand, and to be able to invite people from all over Europe and from Asia into this environment. I think it's important, and I think that people, if we are lucky, people will take that experience and bring it on, and develop it further. I would be so happy if people would do that.